Let's be honest here, Inhumans wasn't all that great. Don't get us wrong, we're all MCU fans here, but as Rotten Tomatoes puts it, an 11% critic and 48% audience rating ain't cutting it. And then there's Ms. Marvel's mutant reveal that basically cut the Inhumans out of the running. So what's their future in the MCU? In this video, we're gonna try and find some answers. Let's hop in. First off, all Marvel has to do is create a subcategory. Let us explain. Everything ties back to how Ms. Marvel handled the origins of Kamala Khan's powers. If the show's finale taught us anything, is that Marvel wants to distance itself from the Inhumans, at least for now. Kamala's one of the most iconic Inhumans in the comics, right? So when Bruno tells her that the bangle unlocked a genetic mutation that was in her DNA all along, it meant that Marvel took a nice soft little pillow and put it over the Inhumans' faces. Doctor Strange 2 added a little hope in the mix though. Anson Mount returned to the MCU with a more comic-accurate suit and then died immediately. But hey, that was Earth 838's Black Bolt, not Earth 616. And as Loki and Thor Love and Thunder showed us, you can have more than one superhero. So why not more Black Bolts, Medusas, Gorgons, and Maximuses? And then there's the Multiverse saga. Now that we know that the Multiverse saga is going to end in a Secret Wars event, it's time Marvel reintroduced the Inhumans as the Avengers' allies. Sure, the TV series didn't have a lot of fans, but it had some fans, and they'd love to see them come back, including us. How, you ask? It's not all that complicated, honestly. All Marvel has to do is create a subcategory called the Inhumans and use mutant as a sort of umbrella term for any sort of mutation. So Kamala could still be related to the Inhumans whilst being a mutant herself, and you know, the Inhumans would be able to make a comeback. Plus, Sana Amanat, who co-created Kamala Khan, confirmed that she was originally meant to be a mutant. But get this, in a recent interview with the AV Club, Sana commented on how everyone's basically othering Kamala by asking whether she's a Jinn, a mutant, or an Inhuman. She explained that the question of what the mutant terminology means is up for debate. And what do you think this hints at? What we think is that the term mutant in the MCU is really fluid and could encompass a large number of things, including the Inhumans. What's more, the comics back this up. So let's say that Marvel creates a subgroup of the mutants called the Inhumans. Where's the precedent? Well, as Feige always says, we look to the comics. It all began with the Celestials. They came to Earth a million or so years ago and experimented on ancient humans, creating the long-lived Eternals and the failed race of deviants. And this also led to the genetic mutation that creates mutants, or X-Men. And on the flip side, the Kree captured an Eternal in the early days and experimented on them. That Eternal led them to Earth, and they got a hold of a couple of early humans and, you guessed it, did some more experimentation. And lo and behold, the Inhumans were born. So all in all, lots of unethical experimentation. But this proves that they're all connected, no matter how obscurely, and it's time Marvel addresses this. In fact, having subgroups would fix one of the weirdest issues we've come across in the comics. So you know how people generally hated the X-Men in both the comics and the X-Men movies? The term mutant acts as a metaphor and sort of alienates everyone who's got a mutation in their genes. The X-Men are hated because of their genetic makeup. They're chastised and isolated and even experimented on. But on the other hand, you've got superheroes like Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four who essentially got their powers because of a mutation. Granted, they didn't have a genetic mutation to begin with, but again, here's where the subgroup comes in. Why do the X-Men struggle so much to be accepted, while Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four are decorated as heroes? Even the Hulk got his power due to a genetic mutation, but people hate him for smashing stuff more than anything else, so there's that. Now, if mutates like Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and Hulk had their own mutate subgroup, then the MCU could add more nuance to the general struggle the X-Men face. It could highlight the hatred they suffer, whilst superheroes like Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four get nothing but love and fame. Now, finally, what's the future look like for the Inhumans? We've pretty much established that the Inhumans don't nearly have a great standing in the MCU, but that doesn't mean that they can't come back or that Marvel's gonna forget them entirely. On the contrary, they're brilliant superheroes with amazing abilities, and they can help out in the Secret Wars event. And it doesn't even have to be a front and center role. They can add depth to the overall story just by being supporting characters. One way that Marvel can use the Inhumans in the MCU is by giving them a tiny subplot in the upcoming Fantastic Four movie. It's slated for a 2024 release, so there's plenty of time to write the script. And why Fantastic Four? Well, the Inhumans first appeared in Fantastic Four issue number 45, and they've maintained close ties with them ever since. The two groups could meet up in the movie, and it'd be an awesome way to feature Medusa's sister, Crystal, who can manipulate all the four elements. But that's not why she's important. She's Johnny Storm's love interest in the comics, and more importantly, she's been a part of the team. Yep, when Sue Storm was pregnant with Franklin, Crystal took over for her. There are countless other ways in the comics where the Inhumans have worked with the Illuminati and have been part of the Secret Wars event as supporting characters. And besides, we We want to see a World War variant of the Hulk taking Black Bolt's scream to the face. But for now, we're happy with Anson's cameo in Doctor Strange 2. It's a sliver of hope that the Inhumans aren't ruled out of the MCU entirely and that the multiverse is still full of different Inhuman variants that could make appearances in upcoming projects. And now for some other news. First up, She-Hulk director promises new comic book characters. She-Hulk's dropping on Disney Plus on August 17th, and the hype is real. Tatiana Maslany and Jamila Jamil are set to make their MCU debuts, but we're also seeing returning characters such as Bruce Banner, Abomination, and, wait for it, Charlie Cox is Daredevil. But we can expect many more. Head writer Jessica Gao promised several new comic book characters that'll be making their MCU debut, which includes Jamila's Titania. Speaking with Deadline about what audiences can expect, Gao was pretty excited about pulling obscure characters from the comic books and inserting them into She-Hulk. Plus, it's going to focus on She-Hulk's character development and get a close look at who she really is. We like that idea, considering the universe is almost always ending in every other MCU project, so a change of pace is quite welcome. Next, we have Daredevil. Lots and lots of Daredevil. Did we mention Charlie Cox as Daredevil? Because he's back, baby! Comic-Con was off the hook this year, because Kevin Feige basically set up 3 summers and winters worth of MCU content. September's D23 event might add even more projects to the MCU roster, but for now, we're just happy Charlie's back. And since he's been out of the game for 3 years, Marvel did us a solid and included Daredevil not just in She-Hulk, but in 3 other MCU projects. Yep, 3. So there's She-Hulk, Echo, Spider-Man Freshman Year, and wait for it, Daredevil Born Again. Born Again's gonna have 18 episodes in it, so, we've got Charlie Cox for days. Even Feige's excited about it. He said that Daredevil and Spider-Man are gonna lead a pack of street-level heroes, leaving the cosmic stuff to Thor and the Guardians. Oh, the hype is definitely real, folks. And lastly, James Gunn revealed that Thor: Love and Thunder had no effect on Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Remember how Chris Pratt joked that Taika left James Gunn with Thor's goats? Yeah, that had no effect on Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We thought it would, but in a new interview with Screen Rant, Gunn explained that he had the script for the third Guardians movie ready before he even knew they'd be in Love and Thunder. They didn't participate much in the movie except in the first 10 minutes, and a lot of folks thought it was a missed opportunity on Taika's part. But now it makes much more sense. See, Volume 3 is going to be Gunn's last Guardians movie, and he'll be saying his final goodbye to the characters. He even teared up writing the final draft of the screenplay. So if you ask us, it was a good thing that the Guardians took off in the first 10 minutes of Love and Thunder. This means that Volume 3 is going to solely focus on saying goodbye to the characters that we've all come to adore. But hey, maybe we're going to see Thor's goats in the holiday special this December. You never know with Gunn. And that's a wrap, folks. Thanks for watching. So, should the Inhumans return to the MCU as supporting characters? And what do you think of the subgrouping solution? Tell us down in the comments. And as always, be sure to give this video a huge thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more Marvel content. Till next time.